So what we're going to want to do, if you guys have never imported equipment or used equipment, we've included with this version of firmware, you can download a CSV template. So we're going to do that. Okay, so I just downloaded it. This is what the template looks like. So we'll go through and explain each one of these on what they are. So here's the CSV file that we just opened up. And here is an explanation that we're going to post on our website that it explains what each column does and how it should be configured. So an internal part number. So what I'm looking at is column A, B, C, D. So if we look at internal part number, quick name or model number, for the power draw, it needs to be whole numbers in amps. So however amps it draws, but it has to be a whole number. It can't be 2.4 or 2.5. It has to be either 2, 3, 4. Manufacturer part number. Uses A and B feed inputs. So this is Boolean language. So 1 for true if you're using both A and B, or if you're only using A or B, you would select 0 for false. Number of power inputs. So number of power supplies per device. And that's very important because when you load this equipment, like take, for example, a Cisco CBR8, it has 12 power supplies. So you want to make sure you have 12 power supplies in this CSV file. That way when you load it, those power supplies will get populated, because otherwise it will only show 1 or 2 power supplies. So very important to make sure you get the right power supplies, because that'll help you later during configuration, so you can set up a fuse or a breaker for each power supply. Otherwise, you're only going to be able to set up 2. Type of power supply or power panel, pretty obvious. Format string. So what this means is some manufacturers start with power supply 1. Some manufacturers start with power supply 0 or power supply module 0. So that's just based on manufacturers. Some start with 0, some start with 1, and they name them, PS or PSM. So that's just per manufacturer. And the same with the label start index, whether they start with 0, 1, once again. So when we populate this in the controller, we'll start with 0 for your power supplies or 1, because we wouldn't want 12 power supplies and start with 1 if the manufacturer starts with 0. Otherwise, you're going to see 13 versus 0 through 11. Or it'd be 1 through 12 versus 0 through 11. So that is the CSV file. And here is the CSV file that we've already created for some customers that they use this equipment for each of their sites. So, a good thing to think of is one person that manages this file and distributes it so everyone else uses it. Otherwise, you get into when you start pulling these devices from the same SNMP server, you're having to pull different names, and you're not sure your whole nomenclature is going to get off. So we highly recommend that you use the same CSV file for all your sites. So one person takes charge of it, manages it, distributes it, so that way all your sites are pulling the same device names, and it'll be easier for when your SNMP starts doing analytics. You can look at all the same equipment versus somebody naming it their own nomenclature. So this is something we created, and you can see we have a CBR8 here with 12 power supplies. So what we're going to do, so I already have this CSV file, so we are going to upload that. So it's no different than this. And actually what we can do, so I named it training CSV file. So there's our 13 models. So it's been loaded. Then we go into add equipment. Equipment name, this is where you can get granular. You know, you can name it Cisco CBR8 row 12 RU2. Unique ID. Now this, an example would be a serial number, but it doesn't require it to be a serial number. It just has to be a unique identifier for the controller to know which one we're pulling, and it will help with the OIDs. So you can name these whatever you would like. Notes, if you have any notes, you know, power supply 1 is bad. You know, any kind of notes that you want to make note on this particular piece of equipment. Then our internal part number. So now in this drop down, all the pieces of equipment that we had in that CSV file that we just uploaded are here now. So we can select our CBR8 and hit create. So since we had 12 power supplies, now we have 12 power supplies. P0, power supply 0, A and B, P1, A and B, and so forth. So let's add another piece of equipment that maybe only has 2. So we'll load an Apex. That's 2 power supplies. So then you can assign these to whatever power module you would like. So we named 1, so obviously we'll set it there on the GMT panel that we named, and then you would set it for whatever feed you want. Feed A, well, you wouldn't set it for feed, but you'd set it up for GMT 1A. Okay. You can just continually add all your equipment in this fashion. If you want to delete, you can delete one device, the device you're currently looking at, or you can hit delete all and it will delete all your equipment if you needed to start over or you're moving the controller to a different site.